Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. Today I'm going to talk to you about brush care and prolonging the life of your shaving brush and the techniques that I use personally for prolonging the life of my brush. I'm an exclusive synthetic brush user, but I'll give you tips for badger, boar, horsehair, and all the rest. I have a brush here that I use today, and the first thing that I would call to your attention about brush care is the way you use the brush. If you read the documentation on most brushes, it will tell you to go back and forth. Now, a lot of people are swirlers. What I would caution you about is if you are a swirler, try to change it up and go the other direction sometimes. Try to go back and forth sometimes. Swirling can result in sort of bald spots in the knot sometimes, especially with horsehair knots. If you've ever had a brush that gets kind of a bald spot out of nowhere, it's probably because you're doing one or two things: swirling too much or too aggressively, or you're mashing down the brush too far. Don't mash the brush when it's on your face all the way down to the handle. That you don't need to do that. It is not good, and it causes issues with your brush. Again, put it to about where you feel some resistance and the brush splays, but not all the way down. If you're mashing it that far, most likely you're going to get a bald spot, you're going to get a knot, or your brush isn't going to last. All right, that's first tip with respect to the way you use it. Go back and forth, swirl if you're going to swirl, but I caution you, sort of change it up. Don't constantly swirl in the same direction. It can cause issues with your brush. If you have a natural hair brush, that is boar, badger, horsehair, it is recommended that you soak your brush, the knot. You don't put the whole brush in the water. Look, folks, especially if you have wooden handles, even though they're sealed, nothing good happens from leaving your entire brush in water. Just put it in a mug or a cup and soak the knot itself in some warm water, not scalding hot, for a few minutes while you shower or something. That makes the natural hair more pliable, so it's not as hard on your brush. So soak it. After you've used your brush, what you want to do is rinse it. And I'll take a moment and rinse this out. Be right back. Okay, so we've rinsed our brush, and one of the things I want to caution you about if you're a synthetic user, if you see like clumps of fiber sticking together, it means there's still soap in your brush. So continue to rinse until it looks like there are no clumps or anything like that. Once you have done that, you can do a couple of different things. You can hold the knot and squeeze. Now, don't pull down if you're going to squeeze the knot. Make sure you're just holding it below the handle and just squeeze it, but don't pull down. Again, nothing good happens from that. Squeeze it, squeeze the water out, or you can just sort of do this number. Once you've got the majority of the moisture out, what I do is I get a towel like so and just do this and continue to do it until you get that moisture just out the tips of your brush, and your brush begins to get back in its proper dry form where it looks nice. It sort of blooms out the way it's supposed to. And then I'll wipe down the hand or remove the moisture for that. Now, synthetic brushes dry very, very quickly. Within a couple of hours, this guy will be completely dry. If you have boar, badger, horsehair, leave it out at least 24 hours to dry, if not more, until it's completely dry. If you have horsehair, a lot of people like to use a comb. Again, if you're going to comb it, be gentle. Don't comb it from the bottom of the knot up, pulling it. Sort of comb it gently and just let the comb teeth go through it. Horsehair is prone to knotting, so be very careful with that. When I had brushers, I used to comb them out too, just to get it looking nice. It's up to you. Don't be rough with it, holding it and putting pressure and combing it like this. Be very gentle if you do so. With synthetics, no need, because they bounce right back into shape as you see here. Now, another thing that I see a lot of people worrying about and agonizing about is stands. Look, you can stand it this way if you want. You can hang it this way. I hang mine from a stand. It's my method, but you can do whatever you want. You don't have to have a stand that fits your brush perfectly. A lot of people want to have the exact type of stand that allows your brush to hang like this. If your brush is too big, do this. Just angle it. It'll work just fine. I have a lot of brushes that won't fit the stand in terms of hanging it like that. All right, so just angle it like so. It'll sit there just happy as can be, and you get the same effect. So don't worry about having a stand for every brush you own that fits it perfectly, unless you have room for it or you just want to. You can angle it like so. It will stay there. I do it all the time. Be careful when you put your brushes into your stands, because sometimes, I'll show you. I'm going to do it on purpose. See how I got the fibers there? Don't do that. Be very careful about that, because if you push them out like that and leave it for the day, they're hard to go back into place. So be careful when you put your brush in the stand that you don't get any hair outside it. It's very easy to do. I have done it. Or do it that way and you don't have to worry about it. So there are my tips for brush care. If you treat your brushes nice, if you dry them out, if you treat them with respect, they'll more than likely last you a long time. Remember, although you need water to shave, you don't want to keep water in your brush. That can lend itself to mold, mildew, what have you. So make sure these guys dry out. And of course, synthetic dry out very, very quickly. So there generally isn't a problem with that. But natural hair, I want to caution you once again, be very careful about too much swirling in the same direction, pressing down too hard. That goes for synthetic too, because I've seen bald spots in synthetic brushes, although they tend to be a bit more resilient. And that is it for brush care tips, which hopefully will prolong the life of your brush. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, let's make the entire world shave great once again.